Overview. The landing gear on the RJ is hydraulically operated and mechanically locked in position. In the event of hydraulic system failure, an emergency means of lowering the landing gear is provided. Nose wheel steering is hydraulically powered. The next section, General Description, will take you through a description of components and operation of the landing gear. General Description. The landing gear comprises two main gear units which retract sideways into the fuselage, and a steerable nose gear unit which retracts forwards. The gear doors are mechanically linked to their respective legs. The nose wheel gear doors are closed with the nose wheel in both the up and down positions. The main gear doors are open with the main wheels down to provide stone and tread shedding protection. The landing gear is normally controlled electrically from a selector lever located on the center instrument panel. Operation of the lever signals a valve to direct green hydraulic system pressure to the main and nose gear systems. A solenoid-operated lock mechanism prevents the selector lever from being moved to the up position with the aircraft weight on wheels. This lock is normally withdrawn when the aircraft becomes airborne. Should it fail, a mechanical override lever is fitted below the selector lever. Landing gear operation is normally a green hydraulic system function. Following failure of the green hydraulic system, the nose and main gear can be manually released and allowed to free fall to the locked down position. However, they cannot then be retracted. The main gear may not fully lock down under free fall, so the yellow hydraulic system is used to assist in this process. Landing gear indications. Gear position and weight on wheels status is signalled by proximity sensors. Green and red position indicators are located adjacent to the selector lever. A green indication indicates that a gear unit is down and locked. A red indication indicates that a gear unit is unlocked, and no indication indicates that a gear unit is up and locked. In addition, a red light within the gear selector lever illuminates if the gear is not in the position selected. Green press-to-test standby position indicators are located under a floor panel aft of the centre console. If the normal position indicators do not show 3 greens, but the standby position indicators do, it can be assumed that the landing gear is down and locked. A steady horn will sound, and the red light in the gear selector lever will illuminate if the gear is not locked down, and the airspeed is below 148 knots, and one or more thrust levers are set below cruise. Operating the horn cancel button on the center console will cancel the warning horn. The same warning indications will occur if the gear is not locked down and the flaps are selected to more than 30 degrees. However, in this case, it is not possible to cancel the horn using the horn cancel button. A horn test button, located on the ground test panel, will cause the horn to sound and the gear selector lever to light. Main gear. The main gear is a trailing axle type and is retracted and extended by a green system hydraulic jack. Both the main gear and doors are locked in their selected position mechanically. The gear is locked down by a lock on the side stay, which is released by a hydraulic jack when a gear up selection is made. To enable the main wheels to fit into the gear bay, a pre-shortening mechanism is used to pull them up during retraction. The up position for both the gear and the door are secured by separate up locks. In addition to retracting the gear, an up selection also applies retraction wheel brakes via auxiliary pistons on each brake unit. When the gear is selected down, the up locks for the door and gear are released hydraulically, and hydraulic pressure extends the retraction jack. The landing gear extends and the mechanical lock in the side stay engages. Nose gear. The nose gear is mechanically locked down by a plunger which engages into a bracket on the airframe. On an up selection, the green system retraction jack releases the plunger and the nose leg retracts forwards into the nose gear bay. During the final stages of retraction, the tyres are forced into contact with spring-loaded levers to stop wheel rotation, and the plunger engages into the up lock bracket. When gear down is selected, the initial jack movement releases the plunger, the nose gear extends aft, and the plunger re-engages into the down lock bracket. The nose gear doors are connected by a mechanical linkage to the nose gear leg. A release pin allows the doors to be disconnected from the leg to allow access to the nose gear bay. Nose wheel steering. The nose wheel steering system is only operable when the green hydraulic system is pressurized and the landing gear is down. With the gear retracted, nose wheel and hand wheel movement is inhibited. Nose wheel movement is available 70 degrees either side of center and is controlled by hand wheels located at each pilot's station. When the aircraft is being towed, the nose wheels may caster up to 180 degrees either side of center. The steering system will disconnect to prevent damage during towing operations whenever 70 degrees either side of center is exceeded. The system automatically reconnects when the wheels return within the steered range. Care should be taken to ensure that the green system is not pressurized when a tow bar is connected to the aircraft. Nose wheel centering occurs automatically on takeoff from within 20 degrees either side of center. To prevent damage to the self-centering mechanism, steering must not be attempted with weight off wheels. That now completes a general description of the landing gear. The next lesson looks at external checks associated with the landing gear. External checks. On completion of this section, you will be able to carry out the external checks associated with the landing gear and be able to identify problems which require further investigation. The condition and security of the nose gear and door mechanism is checked. You should also check that the nose gear door release pin is securely in place. The condition and security of the main gear and door mechanisms are also checked. The main gear doors may be disconnected from the leg for servicing purposes such as wheel change. If the door is disconnected, a red witness mark labelled "Unlocked" will be visible. No label should be visible and the door checked as secure. Ground lock pins are fitted into the main leg side stay and nose leg retraction jack mechanism. These pins must be removed and stowed in the compartment behind the captain's seat. That completes the external checks of the landing gear. Pre-flight. At the start of the flight deck safety checks, the landing gear selector lever is checked to ensure it is in the down position and the override lever is in the normal position. After the battery is switched on, each standby gear position indicator is checked. What indications would you expect to see? When the AC bus bars are powered, the 3 gear position indicators are checked to ensure they are lit. The landing gear warning indications are tested by pressing the horn button on the ground test panel. A steady horn will sound and the gear lever handle will illuminate. That now completes the pre-flight checks. In the next section, you will work through the checks. Pre-flight checks. Complete the 4 pre-flight checks by working through the instructions on the following pages. To begin the flight deck safety checks, check that the landing gear selector lever is in the down position and the override lever is in the normal position. Check the standby gear indicators. The AC bus bars are now powered. Check the 3 gear position indicators are lit. Test the landing gear warning indications. You have now completed the pre-flight checks for landing gear. The next section looks at an abnormal operation of the landing gear. Landing gear emergency lowering. Should green system pressure not be available for normal gear extension, a mechanical means of lowering is provided. This is done by pulling and latching the emergency selector handle, which is located beneath a floor panel immediately aft of the center console. Pulling the emergency selector handle will release the gear and door up locks, causing the main and nose gears to free fall. Yellow system pressure is directed to a free fall assister jack, which forces the down lock on the side stay of each main gear to the locked down position. If the yellow hydraulic system is not available, Selecting the DC pump to battery will provide sufficient yellow hydraulic pressure to lock down each main gear. The nose gear will be pushed into the locked down position by airflow and requires no hydraulic assistance. To overcome any air loads opposing the opening of the nose doors, the initial gear down movement is assisted by the spring-loaded levers which stopped wheel rotation during retraction. Nose wheel steering is not available, and the gear cannot be retracted with the emergency selector handle in the latched position. If the aircraft bus bars are powered, the normal position indicators will provide indication of gear locked down following extension by the emergency system. Otherwise, the standby gear position indicator should be used to confirm that the gear has deployed correctly. That completes abnormal operations. To complete the landing gear module, the last lesson covers landing gear limitations. Limitations. The maximum permissible airspeed for extending or retracting the landing gear and for flight with the landing gear extended is 210 knots. Landing gear must not be operated or remain extended at altitudes higher than 20,000 feet. You have now completed the landing gear module.